Hi, Facebook family. So, I was sitting in my room doing my video diary that I do every night, and I started to think about love and how this semester, I'm not going to say this month, but this semester has been such a huge thing everywhere I've gone, whether it be different Bible studies, different churches. Love, God is love, has been just screaming all over through every vessel of God. And it just made me want to come on here and tell everyone who I know that I love you. Whether you think you had a minor or whether you know you had a major role in my life, every role is major and I appreciate it all. I love you all for it. Whether you were nice to me or whether you felt you were being mean to me, it's fine because I love you. And being a woman of God, my standards, like all women and men of God, our standards have been set high. We have to be Christ-like. We have to walk in excellence, walk in love. And walking in love is not always easy, especially in a world like this where there's so much going on, so much hate. It's hard to walk in love, but I just I want to push and stress the fact that we can't afford not to walk in love, not to love people regardless and even though. Loving people regardless and even though is how Jesus Christ loved us. He loves us regardless of our sins. He loves us even though we don't always do what he wants us to do. That's the kind of love that we need to have, all of us. In Ephesians 5 and 2, I'm going to read it from my Message Bible. It says, mostly what God does is love you. Keep company with him and learn a life of love. Observe how Christ loved us. His love was not cautious, but extravagant. He didn't love in order to get something from us, but to give everything of himself to us. Love like that. Like, wow. It says, observe how Christ loved us. When I think about how Christ loved us, I think about how he left his heavenly throne in heaven to come down on earth and walk among people in a fleshly body. He walked around raising people from the dead, healing their diseases, feeding them. He did things, everything he did on this earth was out of love, just so that he could be crucified, hung on a cross. And when he was on that cross, he was asking for forgiveness from the people who put him on the cross, because he loved them and he loves us. That's why he came down here. He was the ultimate sacrifice. Animals and sheep were no longer sufficient for how we were acting. So he came down to sacrifice himself because he loved us so much. Wow. That's the kind of love. That's the standard of love that men and women of God, everyone, should have. And a start to that is loving everyone who you know. Whether they're nice to you or not, love them regardless and even though. Regardless and even though. In the Bible, it basically says, even an unbeliever, an atheist, can love the people who love them. But when you can love people who aren't nice to you, who don't show love to you, that's that regardless, even though kind of love. Loving people is not easy. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park. But what is? The things you work hardest for are the things you appreciate the most. You appreciate love more when you work hard for it. And so it might not be easy to smile at people who've done you or your family wrong. But you have to love them even though, the way Christ, the way he loves. So that's all I want to say, is I love you all. All my family and my friends in California. Shout out to Cal State Northridge and Hope's House in La Palma and Long Beach and Gospel Memorial and Carson and LA. Shout out to Miami and Kingdom Builders and Kingdom Builders Generation and BOA and New Birth. I love you all. Every single person I've come in contact with, I thank you for the role that you played in my life. No one else could have taken your spot, and so I thank you for playing the role. You're a star in my life. And that's all I gotta say. Peace out. I love you. I love you. I love you. Walk in love.